years ago, we're not putting any resources behind the problem. Yet we say we got young ladies going to prison at alarming rates. If we believe that, then we should be proactively putting money to reduce that issue and be proactive, not reactive. And so I think that is an issue with young kids running around in the community, but also we got to empower the parents and give them resources to get on their feet. You know, we cut TANF in the community, but we're not having any building or bridges or programs to help them get off TANF. And so we talk about violence, it's going to get worse. We had a long winter, but we're going to have a long summer going in front of these issues.
Ms. Bunn, I want to ask you the same question. Do you believe that this law should be enforced in the district, and what is the benefit of enforcing the law?
Yes, absolutely, I believe it should be enforced. As the mother of a 4-year-old, I believe that I am her first example in how she should act as a young woman. I'm her first example about how she should live her life and the choices she makes. And I think our parents need to be with their children step by step. The days that we live in today are very different from when I grew up and when you were okay being left at home, though you shouldn't have been. Times were different then. The community, the village looked out for you. My neighbor across the street, if my parents weren't home, they gave my parents a report of what I was doing when they got home, especially if I was doing something that I wasn't supposed to do. So yes, absolutely, our children need to be under the care of their parents or of someone that is mentoring them. Absolutely.
Many children are truant or drop out of schools in Ward 8 because of bullying, really across the city, but because of bullying and not having a safe passage to school. How would you address the issue of truancy and this unsafe passage?
So in terms of truancy, I think as a government, we need to make sure that we are doing early preventative things with our kids. The South Capitol Street Act says that we can no longer wait until 25 days for a child to be missing from school without checking in to see what's going on. We need to intervene early. If a kid is missing 2-3 days, we need to find out why. In terms of bullying, we need to make sure that in our schools, our kids understand that they are strong and they shouldn't be bullied. I would set up preventative bully committees within the schools of young people so that they can talk about what's going on with them and get encouragement from their peers and understand how me saying that you're a bad person and you don't dress nice, how that affects a person.
Mr. Kimmo, could you tell us how would you address or improve community police relationships in Ward 8?
All right, I think the first thing, let's go back to old-fashioned community policing. Old-fashioned community policing looks like what? It doesn't look like a police officer driving on the street in a car or scooter or Segway. It's a policeman that actually knows your name, one that knocks on your door, one that walks the beat. So I support a community policing plan that includes about 500 new officers on the streets. That's what I think we're going to need to solve some of the problems that we have in the community. So that's one aspect of community policing. But let's get back to some other old-fashioned things that used to work. Elementary school, it was the officer-friendly. By the time you got to middle school, it was the side-by-side band. You do that in combination with the orange hats, and I think that right there would provide for the fabric of community policing and allow some success down in the streets.
Mr. Rob Newman, who's with us this evening, knows that the boxing industry is growing rapidly and spearheaded by a switch from premium TV format to the network TV format, which is more than tripled viewership. Folks saw that Lamont Peterson fight the other day. But we also, DC is in the center of a strong DMV boxing hub, exemplified by the Ward 8 Bald Eagle Recreation Center. The boxing industry offers, of course, great opportunity for health and wellness, character building, conflict resolution, anger management, job creation, education, mentoring, and economic growth, and probably we can add some other things to that.
Esteem.
Right, I think that's in there. But as a Ward 8 council member, or not, focusing on Ward 8, would you commit to work to get the mayor, the council, the DC government, the Boxing and Wrestling Commission, or other stakeholders to prioritize and aggressively pursue the boxing potential in our community? And if yes, as a focus of your advocacy for boxing, what single thing or event would you try to make happen first to advance this effort?
Well, I think focusing on this effort is a positive thing that, one, provides for many positives for the community. We need to be able to nurture a lot of different aspects of our community. Some of them will be entrepreneurship, job creation, the arts and culture, boxing. This is Washington, D.C., so it's the nation's capital. So I think that whatever we do, we can do it well. That will draw a lot more attention to what we do here. I attended a number of boxing matches down at the convention center, one of the Peterson fights a few years ago, and I was surprised by how packed it was and how expensive it was to get in. So there's a tremendous amount of interest in growing that interest here. If you look at the region, you've got casinos that are coming out online right outside the city. I believe if we don't take advantage of those opportunities, that they will at National Harbor and the other places in Maryland. So let us, sink our feet in to make sure that we create a destination right here in Washington, D.C.
Okay, I'm going to move to Ms. Seegers, and this will, I think, wrap up this segment of the forum. I'm going to give you an opportunity, Ms. Seegers, to answer any of the questions that you've heard, that you have a burning, tell us what the question is that you have a burning response to. Mr. Rollins, let's go. What would you do to impact the increase in domestic violence in Ward 8?
I'm the founder of Ward 8's Council Against Domestic Violence, and every year we do raise money for a family that was affected by domestic violence. I'm also working with other organizations that's getting funding from the city. My funds does not come from the city. I'm getting funds from the city, where we have housing, house and roof, those type of places. I'm doing that now. As far as the youth, in the schools, in the homes, one thing, in the schools where they spend most of the day, we need the bullying campaign, we need the peer pressure campaign, we need anger management campaign, we need the churches to be involved. So I would like to write some legislation that make the church come out into the community and mentor the children. Each church is an island, and that needs to stop. So I think the churches should play a part, as well as the parents and the community. When we see something, say something. If you see some kids, especially if they're smaller kids, go out there and say something to them. I mean, the parents may say something to you, but they should stop them right there. That's part of domestic violence, and we have to stop them.
And we know that there is the question asked earlier about the poor relationship between the Metropolitan Police and the community. What would you do to foster better relationships between the community and the police?
Well, my campaign office is on 22nd Street, and a lot of the guys stand out there, stand around, and it doesn't look good. It usually ends up in trouble. They're fighting, shooting, and things of that nature. I'm working with the new commander now, Luke Dandridge, where we're working on a list of things to give them. For instance, drug treatment. I have a list of programs they can go to for drug treatment. Training programs, we have a list of training programs. Funding, we have a list of funding. Another thing we need, food stamps, how to go get food stamps, how to clean the system. We're working on it now. It should be out the next week or so. We're going to go around and give those to these people standing on the corner so they have something on their minds other than standing out there selling single cigarettes.
Thanks, son. Let's see, we're going to make an announcement here. Committee on the Judiciary Fiscal Year 2016 Budget Oversight Hearing, Office of Returning Citizens Affairs, on Monday, April 27th at 1 p.m. at the John Wilson Building, 1350 Pennsylvania Avenue, room 412. Persons wishing to testify about the performance of ORCA may contact Catherine Mitchell at this email address, K-Mitchell, M-I-T-C-H-E-L-L, K-Mitchell at dccouncil.us, or by calling down at 202-727-8275. We encourage all returning citizens and others to show up and testify in support of ORCA, but not necessarily in support of the present director. And that's, I'm just reading here, I'm not advocating one way or the other. Okay, so, come on, Freeman from WEAC Radio. We're doing all kind of innovative and progressive stuff in coordinating on Martin Luther King. Is going to have the microphone and come to you with questions. And here's what we'd like to do. First of all, let me editorialize again quickly. Many folks say, you taking some security over there with you, because you know them folks over there, you go where you want over there tonight, them returning citizen people, they crazy as hell. You know they're going to act a fool up in there tonight. And all you all have done, and all everybody has done, is conducted yourself as first-class, intelligent, respectful citizens. And I didn't expect anything else. Give yourself a hand. And each candidate has given a thoughtful, concise, real answer to each question. So we have a slate here that someone is going to win, and they're going to be really impactful for Ward 8. Now, with your questions, let me please give a quick caution. Please do not speechify. We know you're here and you love your particular candidate, but I'm going to ask you, if you have a question, stand up, ask a direct question without speechifying or trying to let here tonight your favorite candidate. Okay? All right, who has the first question? Ladies first.
Quick disclaimer right here, Rock. If everyone is committed to voting in this election, they should also be committed to bringing someone with them to ensure we have a good turnout in this election.
Yes.
Whoever wins is in this room tonight.
Thank you. Good evening. I'd like to thank each and every one of you panelists, first of all, for your fervor and your passion for the Ward 8 residents. I have two questions. I'll be as brief as possible. First and foremost, I wanted to ask what your thoughts were on education reform, because when I look at my children and I think about what is missing and what I would like to add, it is education reform at a primary level, which means that we're giving them real African education, pre-slavery, which would then allow them a firm foundation of their. What are your thoughts on that? Anyone?
Well, one, I'm a strong proponent and supporter of public education. For us to get real education back into the schools, we need to make sure that each of our neighborhoods is strong. So that's the first level of reform, because too many of us are taking our kids across town, uptown, out in the suburbs. We need to make sure that all of our community schools are strong. But it all starts with parental involvement. The number one indicator of a child's success is what? Parental involvement. For each dollar that goes into the school, we need to carve out a few cents and make sure that they go to parents, provide support to allow parents to be the best parent they can be. And I think if we fix that, work on our neighborhood schools, and invest in our parents, we can have successful outcomes for our young people. Thank you.
Who gets how many answers? One.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
We're going to let her finish that, but there's one question, please.
Oh, okay. I apologize for setting that precedent. But I just wanted to know if you all, again, I'm asking the second time, please form a coalition, or what do you think about that? Because network equals network. And when we talk about what you all bring to the table collectively in opposition to individually, it's a much more larger piece of it.
Okay, Jamal, do you have one? Okay, Phil?
Thank you.
I'm glad that the question about the prison was asked. I just want to follow up on that. What happens every 10 years is that the U.S. Census counts the prisoners where they are. And the locations that have those large correctional institutions, they get those billions of dollars, and those funds do not follow our prisoners back to D.C. Let's be realistic. D.C. is only 68 square miles. If studies are done to build a prison, and it is found that Ward 8 is the only location that is feasible for a prison, would you still support it?
Who are you guys?
To every candidate, yes or no?
Since Mr. White said not in Ward, not in Southeast, can we get an
In
answer?
Capitol Hill.
Who's answering?
So the answer is no.
You know, as I said earlier, Phil, it would have to be a citywide process. I'm not allowing anybody to put a prison here unless there is a process that is citywide. That's fair.
Let everybody weigh in on that.
Well, I believe that as your council person, that wouldn't be a sole decision that I would make on my own. I mean, this is about being the voice for the citizens. And so, while I do believe it should be a citywide process, I believe that if we're talking about Ward 8, we need to come directly to Ward 8, have a series of conversations around it, poll the residents here, and whatever it is that the residents say. I'm not sure that this is something that we should do just, you know, as I should vote on just as a council person.
Sandra? Sandra?
Well, only on Ward 8, I would say no, not only on Ward 8. It would have to be citywide. I think Rock Creek Park would be beautiful for a prison.
Sheila?
No.
Christopher?
Nobody wants a prison in their backyard, but honestly, Ward 8 does have the most undeveloped land and has the space to build a prison. Let's be realistic. And the majority of prisoners, unfortunately, come from east of the river. So, at the same time, it's unfortunate in our community, but it still gives family members and people who don't have the income to travel all over a chance to still be close to their family. So, I would say yes.
Mr. Watson?
I would say no.